Now, tape 3 gets right into many, many Aikido techniques. They're at the intermediate level. All the theory and fundamentals have been shown in tape 1 and 2. So don't attempt this tape unless you've mastered the first two. It's vital. This first technique is against a punch or strike to the stomach. It ends with what they call a chicken arm lock. As you can see, your opponent is totally helpless. Look at it slowly. The master points to show how he directs his energy into the universe, continuous flow, securing the opponent's wrist, flipping him over completely, securing his attacking ham, applying the arm lock. You must study these techniques over and over again. One viewing is not enough. Hundreds of viewings are needed to master each important movement. Look at it in slow motion. He blocks, grabs, redirects. Look how the master points how he's going to direct the opponent. Master Ken Ota flips him around. Now watch the arm lock. With his right arm, he goes into the opponent's elbow. With his left, he secures his hand up high. He has great leverage. He will not break the arm. He just will subdue the opponent. This is the theory behind Aikido. Only use the force you have to stop the attack. There is no need to do damage to your opponent unless it's a very severe situation. Again, as we explained in tape 2, imagine you're the master's shadow. You're moving with him. Do every move he does. Practice at home, even though you may not have someone to work with. Pretend you're being attacked. Now, to flip the opponent, he drives his body weight low, bringing his arms to his knees. The opponent has no choice but to go with the technique, or his wrist will be snapped. This is the harmony they speak of in Aikido, working together. If your opponent throws you, you go with it, never resisting. When you resist, that's what causes damage. You must work together. Notice how the opponent's palm is facing upward. These small details are vital to apply the technique correctly. The master secures the outstretched arm by hugging it into him. The opponent's hand is right in the bend of the master's arm. There is just no way he could escape from this lock. Let's look at it again. This time it's shown with a very basic slapping break fall. Earlier he showed the advanced flip. Now watch, very short fall. If you're not capable of the advanced flip, then use this technique. Watch it again. The master reverses the force, takes the opponent down, and applies the same locking technique on the arm. We showed a punch to the stomach. Now, it could also be against a stab to the midsection. This time he applies a wrist lock, taking away the weapon. Look at it again. The Aikido man never stands in one spot. He's always moving to create the centrifugal force to drive his opponent off balance. And also, a moving target is much harder to hit. Flipping him and applying a wrist lock to disarm him. Now the master keeps him at bay. Look at it again. You can see that if the master did not defend himself properly, he would be stabbed in the midsection. But knowing how to move, he gets away from the force, applies the wrist flip, and disarms his assailant. Very deadly situation if you do not know how to defend yourself. Again, try to pick up each important movement. Look at the technique over and over again. Replay it. An awesome technique. Look at it again. As the strike comes at the face, the master steps back, blocks, takes the opponent down, brings him up again, locks his wrist into the armpit, brings him back down, and again applying a wrist lock. Watch it slowly. As the opponent punches at the face or tries to grab the lapel, the master simply evades, turning sideways. Notice how he draws the opponent off balance. Actually, the opponent is drawing himself off balance with his own momentum. Master secures the opponent's arm, brings him down, grabs inside the elbow. He has him in a wrist lock. Applies pressure to the wrist by securing the opponent's hand against his chest. This is a devastating arm lock. Trying to escape the pain, the opponent drops down. The master drives him back up. Again, palming the elbow, pushing him up. The master with his right arm controls the wrist. Circular motion, driving him down to the ground. The master has full control over his opponent. The same technique, step by step. With his right hand, the master turns the outstretched arm, secures the back of the attacker's hand, applies pressure to the elbow, pushes him down. Now brings him back up, continuous motion. Keeps the opponent's bent wrist secured to his chest. Never letting go of that arm. Applies a wrist lock. Drives the opponent back up. The opponent is helpless. He must go with the master's movement, or his arm will be dislocated, his wrist. The opponent will go with the movement because he's trying to escape the pain. Look at how secure the wrist lock is. The master really gets his weight over that outstretched arm. Again, quickly. Awesome. You are very fortunate to see such high technique in Aikido presented by Master Ken Ota. Now study it carefully as it's presented in super slow motion. Watch carefully. In this technique, again, the strike comes into the midsection or face area. Master simply skips away, controlling the opponent. Reverse arm lock, drawing him down in a circular movement. Similar to the prior technique, applying a wrist lock to the chest, and a very quick circular motion, spinning the opponent to the ground. Ending with a wrist lock and arm lock. Notice how the opponent slaps the ground. In Aikido, that means he feels the pressure on the joint. Follow along. Avoid the strike. With your right arm, grab the striking hand. Turn it around. Spin 90 degrees. Raise the arm. Lock it into your armpit, chest area. Continue the flow. Take the opponent to the ground. In slow motion, this is your opportunity to go through and follow Sensei Ota. Avoid and grab. Look at the opponent. He cannot punch or kick. He's totally off balance. At this point, Master Ota can do virtually anything he wants to him to make him honest, to make him realize he shouldn't have attacked. The last thing an Aikido practitioner wants to do is to use his Aikido to defend himself. He studies the art for the love of it, for the challenge of it. He doesn't study to go out and use it, look for a reason to apply the technique. He will only use it as a last resort to defend his life or his family. Aikido is love and harmony, not aggression and violence. The main goal is to neutralize the opponent. Use whatever force you have to use to save your life. There is no need to go beyond it. If you are attacked and you apply Aikido, let's say an Aikido arm lock, like the one that was showed earlier, you get your opponent in the arm lock to hold him, subdue him. There is no need, if he gives up, to go ahead and break his arm. This is not the philosophy behind Aikido. It's to neutralize and compromise. Study it closely again. Skip away from the assault, away from the force. Grab the lead hand, twist it, 90 degrees turn. Apply a wrist lock to the chest. Notice how the elbow is locked with the left arm of Master Ota. The wrist is constantly turned in. Complete the spin, 180 degrees. Master Ota shows the technique without an opponent, similar to shadow boxing, to show the flow. This is how you should practice at home. Now, quickly, continuous, constant, circular motions driving the opponent off balance and into the ground. This technique applies a wrist flip. Watch it slowly. Again, the simple evasion, skipping back, out of the force, grabbing that lead arm, twist the arm around, bring the opponent very low, now raise him high. Grab his hand with both of your hands, stepping forward with your key energy force, flipping your opponent, sending him away. Step by step now. You should be writing these down. Every important aspect of the technique should be memorized. These are intermediate techniques. Do not attempt these unless you know the basic techniques and theory behind Aikido's movements, which is shown on tape 2. And of course, you must know the breakfalls and the theory of ki on tape 1. Look closely. Secures the top and lower part of the hand. Stepping forward, flipping. You can see if the opponent does not flip and go with the technique, his wrist would break. Now, step by step, again, memorize. Notice how Master Ota drives forward. He leads his opponent. His opponent has no choice but to follow the lead because he is trying to escape the pain of resistance. The student is well trained in falling. Look at how he rolls, avoiding contact to the floor with his head. Uninjured. Look at it again. This time the master goes down on one knee to apply the technique. As the opponent tries to strike or grab, the master leads him down, creating the force, the flip. The opponent is helpless. Look at it from the side. The master completely sidesteps the opponent, holds his arm out, with his right arm, drives down, creating a flip and arm lock. Also used against the knife strike. Holding the weapon hand, dropping down on one knee, and flip. By going down on one knee, he creates tremendous power. Now, in slow motion, that's a very sharp knife. Sidesteps, continues the force of his opponent against himself. He raises the knife hand to create more momentum as he pushes down with his right arm on the attacker's elbow. The attacker is completely helpless. His body weight is taking him over. Now, in a street assault, the attacker probably would not know how to fall, so he would slam against the cement and give up right there. To fully control his opponent, the master does not let go of the weapon hand. Getting the opponent in an arm lock will make sure he does not try to stab again. The master applies the chicken arm lock that was shown earlier. There is no way the attacker can use the weapon. He's completely helpless. To apply more pressure on the arm, the master leans forward slightly. This is a technique against a double front wrist hold. The master drops low, raises the right arm high, steps forward, slamming the opponent to the mat. This is a very common attack. Slap the hands together, create the momentum, bend forward and down, then back up, drive the opponent over. Bring the hands together. This is the secret behind the technique. Now you have momentum. Learn these techniques step by step. Step forward, leaning down, raise the right arm high, keep the left low, step behind the opponent, and forward, driving him down. Concentrate your center, your key force down. As the opponent comes in, the master feeds him bait, puts his arms out. The opponent grabs his arms. Then the master has him where he wants him, applying the technique. Drives down, he drives up, then steps forward and behind, and the opponent is on his back. An excellent self-defense technique. Did you see how simple that was? As someone runs right at you, sidestep slightly, and with your palm slap into the chest, sending him on his back. With little effort, you can stop an attacker. Watch it. The master doesn't stand in his way and hit force on force. He shifts to the outside, times it perfect. The opponent comes in to tackle or grab. The master drops down low, comes back high, builds his momentum up with a circular movement. Drives the opponent straight down on his back. He never knows what hit him. Now, an attack from the rear. Reverse the attacker's grip, taking him down with an arm lock. A rear chokehold is very common. The master twists, creating his force. The attacker's arm is left vulnerable. The master takes advantage of it, reverses it into an arm lock. And the attacker just doesn't know what hit him. Step by step, raise the left shoulder, spin around and underneath the chokehold. Take advantage of the outstretched arm of your opponent. Apply the arm lock and drive downward into the ground. Quickly. Now, slow motion shows the arm lock very secure. The opponent struggling with nowhere to go but down. Now watch this technique. Backhand strike to the nose. The master leads his opponent. This is more or less a training drill in Aikido. But from this, you apply it to the street when someone is running at you, trying to grab you. You use deception. As he runs at you, you put out your arm and you let him grab it. From there, you create the flipping technique. But you also reverse it. As he goes for the arm, turn it into a back strike, and without even hitting him, he is knocked off balance because of the momentum. This gives you an idea of the force, the key power of Aikido. Circular, faking out the opponent. Look at it again. Circular. Again, mostly a training drill. But it also is applied to real life. Now, he thinks he's going to grab. He goes for the bait. Circular motion, the force of Aikido, sending him to the ground. Excellent faking technique. Going low, then high. Double wrist attack, flipping over the front. Watch it again. Taking 2 steps back, dropping down, sending the weight of your opponent over your shoulder. Slowly. 1, 2. 1, 2. Open your arms wide. Make your opponent weak in his stance. Drive him back. Use your body weight. Use your ki power. These are one-finger techniques, which is quite amazing. The master shows us tremendous control. He sticks out one finger. Instead of struggling to get away as the opponent grabs the finger, watch what he does. To show the flow, the incredible power of Aikido. Do not try this technique. Watch again. The student grabs the one finger. Most people would have it broken. The student weighs about 165 pounds and he's holding on to one finger. How is it possible that the master can do this? Through control and ki power, that's how. Watch it in slow motion. The finger is grabbed. The master puts no strain on the finger. He makes the opponent go with him to avoid strain. The finger is used to lead the opponent, as if the master had a leash to lead. He brings his opponent off balance, and then he'll reverse his force and send his opponent the other way. Aikido is used to neutralize and disorient your attacker. You are in constant control. You'll rule the situation. Your center does. Your ki power. You are in full control at all times. Master raises his arm up and puts pressure on the wrist. That hurts. Another one-finger technique. Opponent grabs, 360-degree turn, and ending with a wrist hold. This is not a technique you should try. This is to just show the heights Aikido can be taken to. It's amazing that he can twirl around a 165-pound opponent with one finger and not get hurt. And this one-finger technique and a very advanced flipping counter is applied. Watch. Look at how smooth the master moves. Over 20 years of training in Aikido daily. It's poetry in motion. Goes down on one knee and completes the technique as the opponent slaps to the mat. Step by step. Look at the centrifugal force created, the constant motion. Brings the opponent's hands high, drops them low. Quickly again. Now, breaking from a double wrist hold, raise the wrist high, reverse hand twist, and flip. The opponent is taking a very advanced fall, complete turnaround in the air, coming down with a slap. This was all taught on tape 1. Step by step, follow along. Memorize each movement. Watch how they shift their body weight and the stances they take. When he flips, he brings his arms way out and down, sending the opponent totally off balance and around. Look how high he gets him in the air. Can you imagine what would happen to the opponent if he didn't know how to break his fall properly? Again in slow motion. Twist the opponent's palm, and the opponent must go with the technique. There must be harmony when students train together. We truly hope you have enjoyed tape 3. You are now ready for Master Ota's Aikido tape number 4, Advanced One-on-One Techniques.